The News Hour at 9, co-presented by RP Sanjeev Goenka Group, co-powered by Qatar Airways and ArcelorMittal Nippon Steel India.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As Bharat marches towards Amrit Kaal, the vision of Vikas Bhi, Virasat Bhi is slowly being realized. No longer will our Virasat be shackled by colonial hangover, nor will our Vikas be within the prism of caste, class or religion. Today, Bharat is unapologetically claiming its place in the world with inclusive growth, rooted in our history and our culture. Prime Minister Narendra Modi hasn't shied away from wearing his Astha on his sleeve. He even took a dip of Astha quite literally. Watch these visuals of the Prime Minister diving to the submerged city of ancient Dwarka. He performed underwater puja at this holy land of Krishna with a Tiranga proudly printed on his helmet. This, of course, was just a month after Prime Minister was at Ayodhya, where he performed Pran Pratishtha of Ram Lalla. So, from Krishna Janmabhoomi to Ram Janmabhoomi, Prime Minister says that he has thought about the glory and vikas of our great nation. Listen in to what he said yesterday after his underwater dhyan.
मैंने पूजन के साथ ही वहां मोर पंख को भी अर्पित किया। उस अनुभव ने मुझे इतना भाव विभोर किया है, इस शब्दों में बताना मेरे लिए मुश्किल है। समंदर के गहरे पानी में मैं यही सोच रहा था कि हमारे भारत का वैभव, उसके विकास का स्तर कितना ऊंचा रहा है। विकास और विरासत के मेरे संकल्पों को आज एक नई ताकत मिली है, नई ऊर्जा मिली है। विकसित भारत मेरे लक्ष्य से आज दैवीय विश्वास उसके साथ जुड़ गया है।
You just heard Prime Minister speak about being overwhelmed by the Virasat of India. But what about his promise of Vikas? Remember, confident of a sweeping win in 2024 elections, he has asserted that India will become the third largest economy in his third term, and he said that at Times Network's Global Business Summit just a few days ago. But do the numbers on the ground and do these reflect his confidence? The latest consumer expenditure survey shows that poverty has come down to just about 5% or less in India, and that people are becoming prosperous both in rural and urban Indias if their expenditure patterns are studied. The rural and urban gap has reduced from 84% to 71% over the last 10 years. You can see the details of this NSSO survey data for yourself, and this is the report that I hold in my hand. But interestingly, while the data shows that pro-poor policies of the Modi Sarkar have decreased the disparity, his political rival Rahul Gandhi insists that poor are being looted and cheated. Let's remind you what he has been saying about the Modi Sarkar. Listen in.
उसमें नहीं दिखा, एक किसान नहीं दिखा। इनका इस देश में कुछ नहीं बचा, इनको बस या थाली बजानी है और भूखा मरना है।
आपको दो हिंदुस्तान दिखेंगे, एक अरबपति वाला और एक गरीबों का हिंदुस्तान।
आपको बेरोजगार बनाया जा रहा है,
कोई नहीं बचेगा, सब भूखे मर जाओगे।
ये लोग रोजगार नहीं दिलवा सकते और ना ये दिलवाना चाहते हैं। हिंदुस्तान के युवा का इसमें एक रोजगार नहीं है।
आपकी जगह सड़कों पे भीख मांगने की है।
But is Rahul Gandhi's negative sentiment on Bharat correct? Let's get you some independent projections for India. As per Goldman Sachs, India will become the second largest economy by 2075. The IMF expects India to grow by 6.5% next financial year. Analysts at Jefferies expect the country to become the world's third largest economy by 2027. The value of companies listed on India's exchanges surpassed $4 trillion late last year. In fact, Jefferies has also projected that India's market value will be more than double to $10 trillion by 2030. Even MSCI has increased India's projections in its emerging markets index to 18.06% from 17.98%. Despite these independent projections, the opposition has dismissed the NSSO data as government's data, while the BJP says that this is the result of Viksit Bharat Abhiyan. Listen in.
उन्होंने गरीबों के हित के अंदर जितनी भी योजनाएं बनाई हैं और देश के संसाधन गरीबों के लिए लग रहे हैं, उसी का परिणाम है 5% गरीबी रेखा से लोग नीचे आए हैं। का समर्थित भाव से देश के 5 जो विकसित भारत के लिए और तीसरी अर्थव्यवस्था के लिए चल रही है, इसमें सभी लोगों का योगदान मिलने वाला है।
जो इस प्रकार आबादी बढ़ी है और जिस प्रकार से खाई बढ़ी है, आप मत भूलिए कि जो अमीर और गरीब की खाई है वो लगातार बढ़ती चली जा रही है। और गरीबी की परिभाषा क्या है? क्या वो ग्लोबल परिभाषा है या हम लोगों ने नई उसमें परिभाषित उसको किया है?
Unfortunately, some Bharat baiters continue to be in the habit of hiding behind the garb of religion and deny fundamental rights like right to pray and equality. Watch how AIMIM chief Asaduddin Owaisi says that the BJP doesn't want reforms amongst Muslims but wants to impose Hindutva. This is because Assam Chief Minister has said that child marriage for girls will be ended from the 90-year-old law that exists. On the other hand, SM Yasin of Anjuman Intizamiya Committee declared in a statement that India's condition was worse than Pakistan after the Gyanvapi verdict came from the Allahabad High Court just this morning. Listen in.
है बीजेपी के लोग, नहीं हम इस्लाम में रिफॉर्म लेकर आएंगे। अरे तुम रिफॉर्म नहीं लाना चाहते हो, तुम हिंदुत्व को लागू करना चाहते हो। तुम भारत की तहजीब क्या है? इसकी भारत एक ऐसा मुल्क है जहां पर लोग कई मजहब को मानते हैं, कोई खुदा को भी नहीं मानते। ये मुल्क ऐसा जहां पर एक जबान नहीं, हजारों जबानें बोली जाती।
आपका एक बयान भी हम लोगों ने सुबह देखा कि जिसमें आपने कहा था कि कहीं ना कहीं जो भारत की अदालतें हैं वो भी पाकिस्तान की जो अदालत है उसकी राह पे चल पड़ी है।
देखिए, पाकिस्तान तो हम कह रहे हैं सबसे खराब मुल्क है। वहाँ न्याय नाम की कोई चीज़ नहीं रह गई है। बदकिस्मती ये है कि हमारे जो अदालतें जो फैसला दे रही हैं वो न्याय फैसला तो दे रही हैं लेकिन न्याय नहीं कर रही हैं। वो न्याय नहीं हुआ।
Even as the opposition attacks the Modi Sarkar, let's bring you a NewsHour fact check where we will contrast pro-poor schemes under the UPA and the NDA regime. First, affordable housing scheme under the UPA had 2.1 crore benefactors, while NDA has more than 3.2 crore people. When it comes to toilets, UPA constructed 1.8 crore toilets in 10 years, while NDA has built 11.5 crore. under the NDA. Pension for unorganized worker scheme benefited 36.4 lakh people in the UPA, while under NDA it's not lakhs but 6.1 crore beneficiaries. When it comes to zero bank balance accounts, there were 10.3 crore accounts opened under the UPA, the Jan Dhan accounts, and 51.6 crore under the NDA. 164 Jan Aushadhi stores were opened under the UPA, 10,000 stores opened under the NDA, 6,577 kilometers of optical fiber network under the UPA, and 6.8 lakh kilometers laid by the NDA. And if I come to highways, well, the contrast is just so stark that the UPA will have nowhere to hide. These statistics speak for themselves, which is why perhaps Prime Minister has consolidated his position as the most popular leader in the world in a recent survey by US-based consultancy firm Morning Consult. Prime Minister Modi has topped the global approval rating yet again with a whopping 76%. It's significantly higher than the other world leaders and has been growing over the last several weeks and months when this was put out by the same consultancy group. So, ladies and gentlemen, the legitimate question we're asking on the news hour tonight: baiters blind to Viksit Bharat? That's the question and that's the debate. Coming up on the other side.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.